Welcome back to the channel. I'm continuing a series of videos on just how I make my guitar videos. And I've started with how do I use Premiere Pro, which is my video editing software made by Adobe. And last time I talked about how to do multi-camera syncing and editing. So I will put a link to that video in the description if you want to check that out. Before I sync my video clips together though, I like to adjust the color. So we're going to talk about color grading today. Premiere Pro is an Adobe product. They made Photoshop. So if you're familiar with Photoshop, a lot of this is going to be familiar to you, but I think Premiere Pro has made it a little bit simpler to use, and I think it's really easy to get the color that you want. So I'm going to pick a clip here, drag it in the timeline. I'm going to find a spot that looks kind of typical for the video. I don't want something blurry. And under color, at the top, under that color option, you will get this pane on the right with these different color options. You want to start playing around with the basic correction first. When you adjust these sliders, this is temperature, you can see the video clip changes real time, so you can see what effect each one of these makes. The one I use the most here is exposure. Exposure is how much light you're allowing through the camera. Of course, the video is already shot, but Premiere Pro will simulate different light sources. This is like a brightness, okay? And there are others here: contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks. If you've ever messed with your video settings on your TV, this should be pretty familiar to you. So you play around with that and see what each one of these does for you. The one I use the most is exposure. And under creative, there are preset color options. And to be honest, I usually pick a preset to start with. All right, so there's a ton of these. If you hit the drop down menu, you can see how many there are. There's a lot of these to choose from. And I always think there's one of those that I can start with that kind of helps me get the look that I'm looking for, and I don't have to start from scratch. And there are other things that I can do to adjust it later, but I always pick a preset to start with. And these presets can be adjusted, and you can actually get more of these if you want. There's websites that you can download more of these preset things. There's a preview window here, and if you click the arrows, you can cycle through what it's going to look like. And if you find one, you want to see what does this look like on the bigger screen. If you click on it, it will actually apply that color scheme to your clip. And then if you want to go back, you can undo, or you can click the drop down menu and go back and click none, and it'll take that away. Okay, so I'm going to pick one of these. There's a black and white one, so you can do black and white, and there are many black and white options for different looks. I like this one pretty well. That's a good black and white. Let me see. The one that I used in this video was called SL Gold Western. So you can see how different that looks from the other presets. I like the Gold Western because it kind of brings out my guitar. I've got a little light back here. It brings that out. If I wanted to bring out my bookcase, a bookcase here is blue. So I could use one that has kind of a blue tone to it, which is, I've done that before. So, but for this video in particular, I picked the Gold Western. All right. So I want to remember that because I want to apply this Gold Western to all of my video clips that I want to match. So if I want my video to look like it all matches together, I need to kind of remember the presets that I make and the adjustments that I make. Any adjustments that I make, I need to kind of remember what I did there. So you could write it down, or there might be a way to save these and apply it to different clips. I'm sure there is, but I haven't found the need to do that. If you want to adjust the intensity, if you go all the way to 200%, you can see that's a pretty drastic change. 0% is you're not applying that effect at all. So you can adjust that as needed. And there are other options here. Again, you just need to play around with this and see what works for you. There are these color curves, which I think are pretty amazing. You've got white, red, green, and blue. And if you grab the curve and move it, you can see this is taking the whites away. These are making the whites more intense. This is, you can make really minute changes here, or you can go really, really strong, intense changes. Okay, and it's really fast and really easy to do, and you can kind of play around with this and see what you like. I don't mess around with these too much, but I do think in certain situations it's a good thing to try at least. So for the reds, take the reds away. You see more blue, and if I add the reds in, you can see it intensifies the reds. Okay. There are color wheels. You can do. You can match colors that are in your video. You can just, you can highlight certain colors that are actually in the video clip. I don't usually do much of that, but it is possible. Okay. So one of the things that I do use a lot is Vignette. So a vignette is kind of a softening or darkening of the edges. And, some cameras have a natural vignette, and some people hate that. Some people want a camera that doesn't have a vignette at all. I like to intensify that vignette, and I think it works well for the videos that I do. So if I adjust the amount of the vignette, I'm going to move the slider to the left, to the negative side. You can see what's happening. It's darkening the edges, and it just creates kind of a spotlight effect where the middle stays bright and the edges are darkened just slightly. And I think it just has a nice effect. It just draws your attention to the middle, draws your attention to me, right? I want you to watch me play the guitar. So this is, I think this is a good effect. You just adjust how far you want that. If you go to the other side, the positive side, it actually brightens them. So it makes the middle look darker, and the edges are brighter. That's not really the effect that I want to have. I want the opposite effect. And you can change some of the other settings. You can make that really zero in, or you can adjust the shape of that vignette. And you can make it really sharp. I don't think that's the effect that I want. I want that to kind of be blended in. Right, so different effects there, different things to just make your clips look a little better before you start cutting them up. If you wait and do this after you've synced and cut up your video, then you're going to have to do this editing to every single cut clip. And it's going to be hard to get everything to look right. Now, if you want all your cuts to look differently, then that's what you would have to do. You'd have to go in and edit the color of each individual clip. But here, I'm only going to edit these 3 clips, and then I'm going to put them together into a single multi-camera sequence. And I want to do the same edits, or try to make them look about the same. Your different angles might have a different lighting effect. They may look slightly different to start with, so you might have to use slightly different settings. But I would suggest using the same preset using the same vignette and, you know, messing around with the brightness and the colors to try to get them to match as good as you can. Okay? So that's what I do. All right, so after you've finished color grading your video and you're happy with it, you want to right click the clip and you want to say make subsequence. So when you do that, it's going to save your changes to the clip to a new clip, and it's going to have the name, whatever your clip was, _sub_01. And then when you do the second clip and you edit the colors on that, you'll save it as a subsequence, and you'll get new clips that are made based on your changes. And those are the clips that you're going to actually use to sync together. The original clips actually don't get changed at all. So you still have those if you want to use them for something else, or if you think you've messed up, don't worry. These clips are not changed. You color grade them in Premiere Pro. You kind of output them as a subsequence, and then you take those subsequence clips and sync them together. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button if you like these videos. Let me know in the comments if there is a video that you want me to make. If there's a song you want me to cover, if there's something you want me to explain about how I make my videos, please let me know. All right, thanks. See you next time.